Good morning, class. Today is Wednesday, and we're going to start something new. We have been talking a lot about physics, and we've been working so much with friction that I want to take a step back and do a very quick overview, a little review of where we've come from and where we're going next, okay? So I just wanted to remind you that we started off talking about physics, and that physics is all about forces. We know that forces are pushes or pulls, and that's what physics is all about. From there, we started talking about direction, agent, receiver, and effects. And we said that every single time that there is a force, every time that there's a push or a pull, we have a direction of the force, an agent, a receiver of the force, and then an effect of the force as well. And then we come over here, and we said that every time that there's a force, a push, or a pull, one of those effects is always going to be momentum. Now, what is momentum? I want to do this in red so you remember. It is nothing more than just movement. And today we're also going to call it motion. And that's pretty much where we're going to go today. However, let's talk about what we learned after that. We said that when something moves or something has momentum, you can measure things about it. You can measure the distance that it traveled. You could also measure the displacement that it traveled. You can measure the speed that it traveled by taking the distance and dividing by the time. You can get the velocity by taking the displacement over time. I'm sorry, let me put this double D over there. Okay? And then finally, you can do the acceleration by taking the final velocity minus the initial velocity and dividing that by time. And so these are all the things that we measured when something moves or has momentum. From there, we went back to physics, and we talked about two different types of forces. We talked about contact forces and non-contact forces. And we said that contact forces are when agent touches receiver, and non-contact is when the agent does not touch the receiver. These contact forces that we talked about, there were two main ones, and they were the frictional force, the FF, and the applied force, the AF. Now we do remember that there are three types of friction that we learned about. There was static friction, and that's when things stay still or stick. Then there was also sliding kinetic friction, slowing things down because of when they're in motion and touching one another. And then finally we have fluid friction, and that is the friction of the air or the water. Now, this is where we've come in the last 2 months of school. This is everything that we've done for physics. And now we have just one more week to go before we are tested on. And now we're going to talk about the last little bits of physics, and we're going to come off here with momentum and with movement, and we're going to talk about Newton's 3 laws of motion. Obviously, there are 3 laws. These are very, very important laws, probably the most important laws in science, not only in physics, but just in science in general. I mean, everyone knows these laws. These are laws that you're going to start talking about in 7th grade, and you're going to talk about them in high school. And I could remember even being in college physics, and everyone always talking about Newton's 3 laws of motion. So as we talk about these 3 laws of motion today, and I explain to you with these 3 laws of motion, know that it is very, very important. These are things that you're going to have to remember not only this year, but if you continue working with science in the future, you're definitely going to see them again. Very important laws, and we're going to talk about them in just a few minutes.